We are back. Intermission over. Sosa, Rex, and Spin picked up Goose here to be joining us for Paid for Play. We'll be covering the full college basketball slate today. We got some marquee matchups. We got some lower of the mid-major matchups, but we got you covered in each of them because they all pay the same amount of money. And you know, Daily Bread Media Network, it's the way to get it. We are currently live on Paid for Play Twitter, so make sure to give us a follow there if you already aren't. It's a part of the Daily Bread. And then go to like, retweet. We still can't see your comments there, so make sure to be hopping over to the YouTube where you guys just were to be dropping your comments, best plays. I don't know, man. Whatever the hell you guys want to talk about. The chat is the chat for a reason. We appreciate all of you tapping in with us. If this is your first episode, or Goose, I think this is 22 or 23 episode of Paid for Play, giving out the best bets in college sports. So since everyone already saw their two ugly mugs, Goose, how you feeling on this Saturday?
I'm feeling great. I got my team Rutgers playing at noon. We got 2 football games that we just went over. It's going to be just a great day. It's a bad day to be a Bud Light.
I like it. And then as we get it ready, as Sam's shouting out the squad, who's your 2 winners real quickly in the game?
Me?
For the NFL games as we get everyone else in here.
Gotcha. So I think Tennessee wins kind of easily. And sorry, so I think the Packers win in a nail biter. I do think it's going to be a close one. I can see the Niners winning. I love Eli Mitchell, but it's a bad man, Aaron Rodgers.
You're right. He's exceptionally bad against us in the playoffs.
That's what I'm going to say. Bad as in he plays bad against the 49ers? What?
He is a bad man indeed.
Bro, he's got COVID toe. Like, he might be a little limited.
So if there's any games that you guys want us to be featuring in here, definitely be hitting us up in the comments because we got some marquee matchups, and we'll get it started with the SEC battle. We'll have our main man, Sam, be probably chirping in the comments here, even though it's not the LSU game. We got the game of the day. We're going to start it off there since it tips at 1. We got Kentucky going to Auburn. We got a 4-point spread for Jabari Smith and Bruce Pearl. Sosa, I know Auburn has been one of your favorite teams to watch so far, and you know Cal is my guy. Who do you like on the spread or total today in Auburn?
I like the game to go over. I think if I had to pick anything in this one, it'd be over. I think you're going to get something close to a professional basketball game. A lot of pace, a lot of professional players, a lot of high IQ players. I like a fast-paced, up-and-down game. I don't think with Kentucky having their point guard back that they'll have issues or that many issues against the press. I think both teams will play high-level basketball, and we get the over rather easily. The numbers at 149.5, I like this game to be played in the 80s, personally.
Spin, what do you like for this one?
So from a side perspective, I'm actually personally not playing this game. However, if you gave me a free play, I would play this on Kentucky for the reason that I think that to me, if you do get a professional basketball game like Sosa was saying, I think that this is one that's going to come down to the last few possessions here and there. There are statistical advantages for both teams on both sides. And yeah, I mean, this is big time hoops. And I would, if both teams are going to show out today, I would not see this being more than a 1-possession basketball game. So I would go with UK and no real opinion on the total.
Let's round it up. Goose, what we like in here, then we'll bring in our 4th analyst for today.
So I'm pretty much in agreement. I do think both teams are going to try to speed up each other with their defenses, going to try to speed them up on offense. So I do agree with the over. If it was a money line minus 110 both sides, I just think Auburn's the better team in their home, but it's -4. And I think it's going to be a nail biter. I think it's a 3 to 6 point game. So I'm not on a side to end with. I just think it's a great showcase for Jabari Smith. Kellen Grady's the X factor for me on Kentucky, the shooter. I was looking; he's not hitting at a good clip on the road, and this is Auburn's biggest game of the year. This arena is going to be jumping. So since I'm a little worried about him hitting shots on the road, I don't want to play Kentucky with the +4. I'm going to lay off. I think Auburn gets the win. I think, again, it's in the 80s, like Sosa said.
Yes, sir. My model with the projections, I'll share them for the games. They have Auburn as -2.91 and the total sitting at 150.53. So it likes the Cats to come in here and to cover, but this is sometimes where I necessarily don't agree with the numbers, what they're spitting out here, just because I would make this a flat 3 regardless. Auburn, I would say, is definitely the hotter team rolling into here.
Mm-hmm.
And what Kentucky's going to have to do, and what they haven't done at a consistent rate so far this season, even though they're ranking the top 100%, is hit threes. They're not going to be able to score in the inside here. That is 100% a fact. Kentucky is going to struggle from 2, which is going to allow Auburn's press to get out on the shooters a lot more and contest the shots. So that's just where I want to be laying Auburn here. I do think we get a back and forth game, but I would play the -4 if you forced me. Steven, we'll wrap it up with your thoughts on this one, and then we'll get into the next game here. What are your thoughts for Auburn versus Kentucky, and how are you doing?
I'm doing good. A little bit tired still. Couldn't tell. That's why I was late. But I'm not. I don't really like a side here necessarily to start. I do think Auburn's the hotter team. I think this is going to be probably their biggest game that they're playing at home, at least up to this point in the season. I would wait and see if Kentucky can come out hot and I can get a plus money number on Auburn. Because if I could get that, I think they're more than likely going to go on a big run at home. So I think they'll find a way to win the game. If I can get them with value, I'm going to take them with value, but I'm not taking anything pregame.
All right. So what were if anyone have official plays on this one, and then we'll move into the next game.
Close.
Yeah, I mean, just as I gave it out, Kentucky here pregame, not big, small unit size. It just 2 heavyweights throwing back and forth. This game to me just screams one that comes down to the last possession. And if that's where you think the game is going to go, then there's really not a good chance of covering the 4.
All right. Second marquee matchup of the day, because this is for first place in the ACC.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? Battle of Florida State going into Miami. Florida State's off the hot win at Duke, but a lot of people forget they had that Thursday makeup game against North Florida. So you got Miami with the fresher legs into this game here. And Miami, when you've been looking at the head-to-head matchups historically between these two schools, has not fared well recently, where Florida State has completely had their number. And does it look like they could potentially have it today? Because this Miami team, I've just been waiting for when they're finally going to kick out and die. Steven, is today the day? Because I don't know. The Canes could be pulling out a dub here.
I think it will be Florida State today. What I love about their team is I love their size and that they can kind of just shut down any team on the inside when they want to. And like, so they're good at getting into the passing lanes because they got guys with length that played defense well, and their shooting's finally starting to even out to where we thought it should have been, because they were just such a bad shooting team early in the year. Now that that's starting to even out, they're going to play defense well. It is still a rivalry game. I think Florida State's the hotter team, and I'm going to roll with the hotter team. So this one will be official. It'll be Florida State money line again.
Goose.
So I was trying to even get some last minute info. Malik Osborne is questionable today for Florida State. I think that's pretty big, but I still like their size on defense. Pause. Sorry. Miami has 3 great scorers on their team, and Florida State is a team that can pretty much, with their defense, eliminate at least one of these scorers. I think with Florida State size, I think that it's going to be tough for Miami. I'm not a believer in this Miami team, but they just keep winning. They're hot right now, but I'm not a believer, and I think Florida State pressures them too much to take in some bad shots. And I think Florida State, I think it would be 9 in a row that they would make it if they win today against Miami, and that's where my head is at.
Yeah, I'm not going to go. I don't think I can get there on the money line, but I respect the cojones to take it. I am on Florida State with the points. There's a number of matchup things here that I see is just everything regarding 2-point offense versus Miami's 2-point defense to me favors Florida State, specifically near proximity and at the rim shots. Florida State is one of the best in the country there, and Miami's defense very, very average, actually sub 200 in that. The reason why I can't take Florida State for the outright win is because of Miami's ability to make the 3 versus the way Florida defends it, specifically on the road. Sub 300 in that category. And Miami actually, depending on which metric you look at, or where you look and how you shape the metric, top 25 to top 35 in 3-point percentage or projected 3-point percentage. So from an offensive standpoint, unless Miami is just clanking threes left and right, which given the way Florida State has defended them, not sure that's going to happen. That's why I said, I don't know if I can anoint them the winner of the game, but I will for sure take them to cover this spread.
Sosa, what are you liking? All right, he's typing something out. I'll give my matchup here. And I think in this game, Goose, you hit Malik Osborne correctly because he took the rest game against North Florida. I think he'll play today because they brought him back for Duke in a must-win game for a crucial spot in the ACC. I think he'll be ready to go. But Florida State, their offense has been a little bit less efficient than usual, just probably because they don't have the pure go-to scorer. And one big factor that Florida State has relied on to generate points is forcing turnovers. And that's one thing that the Hurricanes have done very well of is they take care of the ball. Majority of their possessions does end with the shot attempt. So that's just where they're taking care of the ball at home. I think I have to lean with the Canes at the short 2.5 here in this one. Sosa, are you good to talk now?
Yeah, I'm on Miami as well. Larinaga always has a team like once every 5-6 years that's good. This is the one. Like it's just where they don't necessarily. They've also had a couple of guys who have had decent careers. They've just been hurt at Miami. I personally believe that I like this Miami team a lot better, especially after the way they played against North Carolina. Now, it could also be a prime spot for a team to have an emotional letdown after a big win against a team where no one really – or it could be a situation where they are legit and they go in and they win a game. I think that they're fired up today. Like you said, they've lost the last 9 times they've played. Part of that is because the Florida State's put out some real big-time professional players in the last 5 years. They've had NBA talent left and right coming through Florida State. Not that they don't now, but I just think that this Miami team is built like a Larinaga team. All the successful teams that Larinaga has had, they weren't with huge NBA names. They were with rosters that were developed over time that took a bit to get good. And I think he has that mix in place. And I think this Miami basketball team's in place I think they win the game outright, in my opinion. I think they win today. And I love Florida State. I don't see those pros that I would necessarily fear or I would have instill fear in your crosstown rival, right? Because when Miami football was good, why'd they dominate Florida State? They had pros and vice versa. I think when Florida State don't have that high level NBA talent, you can match up with them every night. And Leonard Hamilton plays a system in which games end up very close all the time. We just saw him win a 1-point game against Duke. This is another opportunity for it. You have two teams on extreme emotional highs. One of them is going to have a letdown. So I'm rolling with Miami. I think they're more experienced. I like Larinaga. This is what he does. Once every 6 years. I'm not lying. Y'all know
you're right.
No,
once every 6 years, he just figures out a way to win all the close games. And then he'll be bad again for another 5 years. But that's how it goes. That's what I expect. I think Miami, they get the monkey off their back. He's been preaching it. His kids, the kids that he coached know it. I like Miami today.
All right. Next game, Steven. I know this was one that you put on here, so we'll start with it. So if anyone doesn't have any thoughts about a mid-major, just raise your hand and we'll skip past you. But we got UAB going into La Tech. So, Steven, what are you thinking?
Yep. So these have been the two best teams in Conference USA. UAB's been coming back down to earth a little bit more when they play on the road, and I'm not in the position to go against Kenneth Lofton Jr. Especially not at home. I'm gonna take. Pretty much a pick 'em, so I'm just going to take La Tech money line. But, I mean, they're getting one, so you might get it at even money.
Goose.
I'm actually loving UAB today. Jordan Walker, I think he's a great guard. He's in this like 6th year, it feels like. He's from the Patrick School in New Jersey, and he's averaging like 19 points on the road. He averages 16 and a half in the season, but 19 points on the road. He's a big time player. And UAB has a 7-foot center that Kenneth Lofton's a wide tank. He's a wide tank, and he'll get his. But I like UAB to control him. I like Jordan Walker to will his team to win. I mean, New Jersey does it best for basketball, and when I got a New Jersey star going, I'm rocking with them. So give me UAB. They don't shoot a lot of threes. They're like bottom 100 in 3-point attempts, but they are 28th in percentage. So like usually people say like shooting doesn't travel on the road, but they already shoot a 3-point at such a low clip that I don't think it'll matter for them. I'm excited for this one. This is one of my favorite games of the day. I'll have to put it on the second screen because it's a 4 p.m. game, and I'm rocking with UAB.
Spin.
Yep. No official play on the side. I would agree this will be a back and forth game. Might even be an overtime game. And which, if it does, it probably will kill what I'm about to give out, which would be the under. You have two teams in this game that are top 100 in defensive efficiency. And now I know their offenses also rank reasonably high as well. But when you got two conference rivals, you look at the past history between these two teams as well. And well, first of all, the series has been dominated by La Tech. However, the total has actually gone under in 6 in a row. Under this number is 6 in a row between these two teams. UAB's defense has been especially good on the road, and La Tech's defense has been good at home. So to me, I see this one as long as it doesn't go into overtime. And when I would tell people, if you're looking at betting an under, don't let that factor in, just because of the percentage of games that actually go into overtime to make you step off of an under bet. Like don't let that be a factor. So I would pretty comfortably for this one take under 145.5, which is actually the same place that it opened.
So, any thoughts? I see you're in the chat active, so you definitely have some.
I mean, bro, like, if you're going to bet against Kenny Lofton's son, best of luck to you. The kid, he got fat boy swag, man. You can't fuck with him. He's just one of them boys, bruh. I'm dead serious. Like, if you want to see a skilled big, go watch Kenny Lofton Jr. The kid is just dynamite, lefty, just like his pops. I mean, Kenny Lofton, one of the most, like I said, best swag in sports at one run, bro. Like Kenny Lofton was good, but like he was one of the coolest ball players ever. And his son embodies the same thing. He's just cool, superstar, in my opinion. He reminds me of Big Baby. Obviously, he's built just like him. He played just like him. He's just a lefty, super crafty, a lot more athletic than people give him credit for. But I'm on La Tech, man. They own the rivalry. You can't call it a rivalry if you get your ass whooped all the time. You know, like it's not a rivalry. Their records are just close, but they literally beat the shit out of them every time they play. So if you're on UAB, that's cool, but you're going against every trend or stat, in my opinion. They don't shoot the three, they don't defend the paint. And I like La Tech to handle them, in my opinion, today.
All right. Before we get to the next game, make sure to give the episode a like and a subscribe on YouTube. Hop over to the chat if you're still watching us on Twitter. If you want to get in there, and don't you guys worry from the games that you put in earlier for what you want us to talk about: UNC Wake, Oakland Green Bay, Oral Roberts, North Dakota State. We'll hit those quick hitters once we finish it because we got 3 games left. Then we'll give out our full card. So we'll answer all the questions that you guys dropped before we get there. We'll even reply to Goose talking to himself saying he needs a fresh haircut.
Tuesday.
So, Goose, we need to fly you out to Iowa potentially because when you're at the games, Rutgers winning, but we're not going to talk about Rutgers just yet. LSU at Tennessee here. Everyone's darling has gone down right now just because the loss of Pinson, able to withstand it in the first game. Now back-to-back, they've dropped it without him. Rematch from Tennessee earlier in the month here where they won by 12. You got Tennessee laying 5 at home. Sosa, since we've been starting with Steven, what do you like here?
Now, I think we all know how I feel about that one guy, right? Y'all know who the one guy is.
Rick Barnes.
Rick Barnes.
That one guy. We're going to bet with him today. We're going to bet with Rick Barnes today with the points. I'm just playing, dog. I would never fucking bet on that guy. Are you out of your fucking mind? He's
So you're backing your other favorite coach in Wade?
Yes, Will Wade, that fraudulent fuck. I'm rocking with him today. I'm rocking with Will. But, bro, I'll never fucking ever bet my money on Rick Barnes. I'll fade him to oblivion. I don't give a fuck. Because we'll only bet on him in big games, and he never wins any of those. He never wins any big games. This Tennessee team is going to be a bubble team. That's my firm expectation. People are like talking about listen, this team, I believe they had 3 guys drafted last year in the last draft, and they didn't even get to the fucking tournament. Rick Barnes sucks. He fucking stinks. Like, think about that. He's putting guys in the league left and right, and he can't even win a game in the tournament. He can't even get to the tournament not half the time. He sucks. He's got a job based on reputation and one Final Four with TJ fucking Ford. He's never won shit. He's never going to win shit. He's never comes close. All the big games, he's going to lose them all. Bet your money on LSU. Fuck with your Tennessee. The crowd will be nice. All that talent. They don't have the talent. 12-5, and that's just where I stand. If I had to make a bet, I would bet on Will Wade and them. I'll never ever bet on Rick Barnes. It's just not conducive to winning or being financially profitable in any scope of life dealing with that guy.
Yeah. I was actually hoping that Sosa would say somebody else for that guy so I could take Rick Barnes because I'm in the exact same boat. LSU money line for me. Rick Barnes and not in the regular season, but in the NCAA tournament, Bill Self are 2 of the major college coaches that always find ways to fuck things up. And so this is a bit, but the only difference is Rick Barnes does it during the regular season as well. So big time game, nationally televised game, all the things. There's not a chance I'm betting on Rick Barnes in this game. And, just watching Tennessee when they got absolutely smacked by Kentucky, So the score was one thing, but so many of their weaknesses were exposed in that game. And though to me, those are all a number of things are ones that LSU actually does pretty well. Obviously, we know that defensively, it's lockdown. Number one rated defense in the country, number one 2-point defense, number one defense all the way. So if you're going to ask me, do I trust Rick Barnes to scheme to beat that? Not a chance in hell. LSU money line, I'll make that official.
Goose.
Yeah, so I think it was like 2 weeks ago that these two teams played. I came on here thinking Tennessee was going to cover the +3 against LSU, and I was wrong there. And then last week, Tennessee just gets boat raced by Kentucky, like you're saying. And I just and now it's Tennessee -5. I think it's too big of a spread. I think LSU covers it. I was wrong on Tennessee before. I'm not going to be wrong twice. Yeah, I don't see how they cover this -5. So I'm rocking with LSU as well. Spread's too big. This is a great defensive team and should be a good one.
Steven, to wrap it up.
Yep, I actually agree with the point Sam brought up in the chat. I think it might make a little bit of a difference. I don't think it's going to be a dramatic difference with the fans, but I think it will be a little bit different. And yeah, there's too much value here for me with LSU money line. I don't know, just the way Will Wade kind of went off on the officiating after the way those last 2 games were called, fouls wise against LSU. I just feel like he's definitely going to have these guys ready to play. And yeah, like the revenge factor is always there with teams, especially teams in the top 25 coming off a loss to a team they're playing for the second time. So, but I just think LSU is that much of a better team this year that I'm going to be rocking with them money line.
All right. I got no strong feels on this. I told the guys I'm just staying away from LSU games until Pinson gets back into like 1 or 2 more after that. Gaines, he had those first 2 good games back, and then he started to die off a little bit. Teams got the film on him. And like we said, those Alabama guards just applied enough pressure to just win, but not cover. So let's get into our second to last game of the night here, where we got North Carolina at Wake Forest, one of the better college hoops rivalries. Oh, man. The home team should be at a flat 3. I don't know why it's money line sitting out there at -115. I think the reason why it's dropped off of that is Wake Forest is one of the best way and one of the most efficient ways that they scored. They have the 4th best 2-point offense. They shoot 60% 2-point field goals, but their height can be matched and outdone potentially here by the UNC bigs. So that's your biggest factor here in this game for Wake is, are they still going to be able to generate it? And even though UNC does have the size, it hasn't contributed to solid 2-point defense. This team in UNC likes to play up and down and chuck it from 3 more often than not, and Wake's going to fall into that trap. So I don't think any team will be dead in this matchup with how much they rely on threes. Sosa, does Hubert get a signature win here today?
Man, I want to say yes. I'm non-committal on anything that has to do with Hubert Davis right now, to be totally honest with you. It's obviously you go through a transition with any coach, right? Listen, there's still a good foundation at UNC. We don't have a dynamic professional basketball player on our team right now. We just don't. It's that simple. Baycott coming back was cool and he's good, but we don't have that dominant player. We don't dominate the boards the way we usually do with the bigs that we have. The inconsistency and the inconsistency from both the players and coaching thus far have me hesitant to touch any more North Carolina games until we get a little further into conference play. and we really see like some level of sample with Hubert Davis running the show. He's been awful with game management. He's been awful with timeouts. Whereas Roy Williams wouldn't call timeout if he will die with 5 timeouts. But Hubert's just done a poor job, in my opinion, thus far. Not that this is like a full indictment on him. He still has to get used to being that guy. But I personally, I can't bet on North Carolina. If I were to bet, it would be Wake at the crib. I just think the team is like that.
Yeah. Wake or nothing here for me. Not one that I'm going to be officially playing, but to me, this has to be a Wake Forest spot. And from a totals perspective, probably slightly under, but this is probably a game where I'm just going to more watch it as a basketball fan, maybe look to bet it live versus taking anything one way or the other. To go back to what Rex said with the 2-point offense. Yeah. I mean, North Carolina has bigs, but they're still sub 240 in near proximity defense, and they're actually sub, I think, 200 in defense for shots around the rim. So all that size and haven't really made a huge impact on the defensive end, which is what Wake does well. So there's a lot of what I call contrasting factors here. So you have like 3 or 4 things that North Carolina does exceptionally well that Wake struggles with. And then you have the same thing on the other side, which when I see those for games, it's usually ones that I just look to bet live, or like I said, in addition to being a capper, I am a massive fan of this game. So I might just watch this one as a basketball fan.
All right, quick hitters on these last 2 because we're running up to a half hour. We got 1 game left, your questions, and then our full cards.
Yeah. So for this game, the way North Carolina plays on the road this month in particular has not been good. They gave up 85 to Miami on the road and 78 to Notre Dame. And they look good when they played Virginia and Georgia Tech, but both those games were in Chapel Hill. This game's away at Wake Forest. I think Wake Forest pretty much at the same level or close to the level of Miami. So I'm going to be on Wake Forest money line here.
Goose, anything from you?
Yeah, I'm rocking the over because I think Wake Forest is going to get theirs. And I just think with all the bricks that UNC shot up last game against Miami, I think they pushed the tempo to try to get their confidence back after that showing. So I'm going to go over 150.
All right. And our final game to wrap it up. Definitely can tell you this will not be the prettiest matchups here. Steven, I know you wanted to talk about this one. What are you liking with the Aggies going to Arkansas?
This is probably going to be my dog of the day. It probably shouldn't be because the line's moving in Arkansas's favor. It's up to Arkansas -9. This is definitely a bounce back spot or a revenge spot for Arkansas after Texas A&M beat them earlier this month. And since that loss, Arkansas has rattled off 3 in a row. But I think Texas A&M is a little bit of a bad matchup for Arkansas. Arkansas hasn't been the best shooting team for the most part this year. Texas A&M can play pretty good defense and kind of slow them down, put them into a game they don't want to be in. Just for the value, because I think this game is going to be close regardless, I'm going to take Texas A&M plus the 9. I'm also going to sprinkle Texas A&M money line.
Who's out for Texas A&M? Is anybody confirmed? Because this line seems to be way too big because it opened at 8. It's gone up to 9 now. And who really wants to be laying 9 with this Arkansas squad? Sure, they've looked more, I guess, better as of late, but I'm still no bit sold on this squad. Even though they have seemed to figure out some of their issues, they did lose a decent amount of NBA talent after they rattled off 3 straight. I just think I have to take the 9 here. Spin. say
Yeah.
what I've been trying to say, but I
No,
can't.
no, no, no. I was going to say, from an injury perspective, the only one who's even listed, and now college injury reports are unofficial and very, very shady up until like an hour before the game. The only person that's listed is Jalen Johnson, but he's been out for the whole year. So, um, oh, man, yeah, I'd probably have to take the Aggies here to cover. I for sure cannot take them to win, but I do think that there are a couple of metrical advantages that they do have here over Arkansas, specifically with their Texas A&M is not the greatest 3-point shooting team, but Arkansas has been sub 225, sub 230 in 3-point defense all season. Arkansas also is not very good at containing second chance opportunities, which Texas A&M has been good at. And then just Texas A&M does a really, really good job in generating points either off turnovers or in breakaway open transition type of situations. So just when you have a couple key areas like that one team does well, that the other one doesn't necessarily do as well as containing, then I think you have to take the dog here, especially laying as many points as this game is.
We've had the huge swing during the show. Goose, Rutgers is -3 now. They were +1.5 before the stream started.
I'm hopeful for March, man.
Huge. That type of swing in half hour. If anyone in the chat knows what was the reasoning behind that, but that's big.
Minnesota's game, I think against Penn State on Wednesday or Thursday, was canceled due to COVID. So like they might have a weak roster. They might have. I have no clue. I have no clue who's out, but that just says that we got word that someone's out for Minnesota, and it's still a road game. Road games are hard to win in the Big Ten, especially if you're Rutgers. But I like that. I like that line movement.
Definitely makes you feel a little bit more confident.
Yeah.
So we'll route through the questions that we got in the chat real quick. A lot of people have been asking on St. John's. I have an official play in that game, so we'll get to that one there. Spin, I know you've been enjoying the Summit League, so I hope Norman's still here. Any quick thoughts on this game whatsoever? If not, we can just move past it.
For Oral Roberts and North Dakota State?
Yep.
Yeah, Oral Roberts, lethal shooting at home, and but North Dakota State, reasonable defense, both 2 and 3. So I think that if you are going to take a side on this one, or if you're going to take a stab at the total on this one, I think that the under probably is the play here. Not much under. What you might want to do is actually just wait and see if it starts off hot, because Oral Roberts typically can start off shooting pretty hot at home. So if you like the under, you might want to wait. And if they put up a bunch of points early, then you can grab a better live line under. If you have to play it pregame, play under.
All right. There was Oakland and Green Bay was our other question that we got in here. Steven, I know you like your hoops here. What do you like here? Smokey boy, you're on mute.
I'm not going to take the over-under here. The only thing I will take is Oakland in a bounce-back spot. Green Bay's not that good of a team. Oakland just came off a bad loss. I think they're looking for just like either the bounce-back or the revenge factor. I think they absolutely smoke them today.
And Steven, you got to play in the Grand Canyon game, correct?
I do not.
All right, then give your thoughts on this one. Then we'll get to each of our full cards, and that's how we'll wrap up the show.
I love Grand Canyon's talent as a team, but from a betting perspective with them, they run teams at home. On the road, they play way closer games than they should. It feels like they play down to their competition when they're not in Phoenix, but when they're at home, if you get them at anything less than a double-digit spread, take it.
Yeah, the road that showed that last game, they kind of got a little bit clobbered in that second half. They definitely rely on that home court. And if you missed Tuesday's episode, that's who Steven gave the best college atmosphere to, which a lot of people did not even have them in their top 5. All right. Who wants to go with their full card first? Sosa, you want to do it?
Yes, sir. I got 4 plays for the people. First game starting at noon. First play of the day for me will be Nova versus Georgetown under 139.5. If you've watched Daily Bread, we've cashed 5 straight unders for Nova. It's just the style that they play. They play a slow, demonstrative style of basketball. They're not very deep. They're not trying to get into track meets with teams. The only times they score a bunch of points is when they just go unconscious from 3. I don't expect that. I think that Georgetown could probably keep it within the 14. That won't be my lead play, but I definitely love the under. I think early start, you're not going to get a lot of continuity to start the game offensively. You get a low scoring first half, second half, even with the fouls, they still keep it low. My second play of the day will be in the Ivy League yet again. We're looking to go 2-0 in the Ivy League. Last week, we had Columbia plus 9.5 against Harvard. Today, we're taking Columbia plus 9.5 against Brown.
Ooh, that one's a little bit tougher.
It is a tougher matchup. Columbia at the crib, I think they can keep it close. The next play I have today is in the Marshall Florida Atlantic game. Florida Atlantic at home. I like their team total over 76.5. This Marshall team's coming off a loss to FIU. I think there will be very little defense played, and I think Florida Atlantic gets out and hits a lot of threes at home. And my final play of the day is in the 3 p.m. game between the Baylor Bears and the Oklahoma Sooners. I like the Baylor Bears minus 1.5 first half at minus 115. Those are my 4 plays for the day. If you're tailing, hope you win. If you're against me, well, best of luck.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go. All right. So I got 3. I'm actually glad that Sosa didn't lead with Georgetown plus 14 versus Nova, because I will take Georgetown plus the 14 versus Nova, given Sosa brought up all the factors as to why, but especially for an earlier game like this, 14 is a huge number for me. Too many points. Next one I'm going to go with is Chattanooga minus 5.5 against VMI. VMI, for those of you that haven't watched VMI, it's all 3-pointers all the time. That their offense plays at a pace and they take enough shots to score enough points. Their defense has just been hideous lately. They've given up damn near 100 points multiple times. Chattanooga is just a different breed than the teams that they have recently played, both offensively and specifically defensively. So VMI is at their best when they're playing games that are like 95 to 92 shootouts, and Chattanooga doesn't do that and doesn't allow that. So minus 5.5, that's actually a pretty easy one for me. And then the last one I'll give out is Southern Alabama, Louisiana Monroe under 148. You have 2 teams that are pretty reasonable with defensive efficiency. Southern Alabama is top 100. And Louisiana Monroe, their metrics for the season don't look that great, have been actually a lot better lately. So both 2-point and 3-point defense. So little Sun Belt action for you there, under 148 for Southern Alabama, Louisiana Monroe.
Goose, hit me up with your card.
All right, so I got 2 plays from the stream that we covered and 2 plays outside of that. So I'm on UAB minus 1.5, and I'm on UNC Wake over 150. 2 plays I like. I'm going with Virginia Tech minus 6 at BC. I've been on Virginia Tech a couple times. Storm Murphy, best name point guard in college basketball. I think they take care of BC on the road. And then the JMU Charleston game, that over-under has been fluctuating. Last time I saw it about an hour ago was at 156, and I like that over. I think that game is going to be a high-scoring game, so I'm going to go JMU Charleston over 156.
Yeah, that one's flown up. It opened at 152. That one is just, man, and that one is flying up, and I mean, I can see why. So, yep.
Steven? How long should we let him talk on mute for?
I got 2 plays from the show, and then I got just a 6-pack of regular plays. So the 2 from the show, I like Florida State money line, LSU money line, and then for the other games, I mean, I've been trying to stay on St. John's as much as I can, but they're just not profitable. I'm gonna take Seton Hall here minus the 2 in the early game. Northern Kentucky strictly just a fade IUPUI, so Northern Kentucky minus 12. Baylor minus 3. I like Dayton minus the 2.5 over George Mason. And I don't think North Carolina State has the offense to beat Virginia's defense. So Virginia money line. And then USC needs a dominant game. They haven't had one in a while. If they're going to get one, it's going to be against this bad Utah team. So USC minus 5.5.
And that's going to wrap it up for you. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, that Seton Hall St. John's game, that total keeps dropping. That opened at 157, and now we're down to 153. It's dropped another point within the stream here. So that's kind of a questionable look there because neither of these teams are going to let the shot clock get under 10 seconds in today's game. I can guarantee you that. All right. Well, where's the name for my card? There it is. My card. First play, we got Florida minus 6.5, minus 110. Vandy's coming into the swamp here. We nail this Florida team. Vandy don't believe in their size. They're starting to show their true colors in SEC play. Colin Castleton, we hate them, but we're backing them today. They'll dominate in the swamp. That'll be a 10-point win. Goose, your favorite game of the day is UAB versus shit, I'm blanking on it. My bad. UAB versus La Tech. My favorite game of the day is Furman going into Wofford, and we're taking Furman on the money line at plus 105. This play will never be dead, even if there's a minute left, because both of these teams will probably only shoot threes and not attempt a single 2. Just from a matchup perspective, Wofford, even though they're letting the threes fly, they cannot defend it whatsoever because when Wofford misses, long misses, puts you out, Furman can hit them in the transition, even though that's not really what they like to do. But I like the Paladins plus 105. And then the third and final play, we'll take a matchup and we'll take an over. That's also dropping as well. This one is down to 137.5, and we're going to take the over here in Kansas versus Kansas State. This opened at 139. I just don't understand why this is dropping. I think we've been hitting Kansas overs, even though Kansas State's offense is pretty abysmal. Neither of these teams defend the 2 well. I'm not going to have to rely on them to hit the threes to get this one here. They'll win it in the inside. Over 137.5, and we'll get this over in the fouling. So that's 3 plays from me here. Any last words?
Yeah, Sosa, good luck in that first football game today. Let's go Bengals.
Oh, bro, I don't need luck.
No, Titans smack.
Back to beat the shit out of them. Derrick Henry, number 22 on the 22nd, 2 touchdowns.
Tannehill finger roll.
AJ Brown 2+ touchdowns. Yeah. Anyways,
You get 1 at least for sure.
This is a basketball show.
Yeah.
Joey Burrow can't play safety. I know that.
It is what it is. If you missed the NFL, as the guys are alluding to, Daily Bread, same YouTube page, as you guys all know. Run that back. You got a lot of time.
I got one more thing. Goose, can't wait to see you tomorrow, buddy.
Can't wait.
Can't wait to see you tomorrow. I really mean that.
Oh, I'm a little scared, but
I can't wait.
What's going on tomorrow?
He got to get on camera and support Josh Allen.
oh, I can't
Oh,
wait.
Goose is
All right.
joining.
Let's go,
Sunday
Bills.
morning
Let's
QBs
go,
tomorrow.
Bills.
You're making them join.
He better.
I didn't know I was gonna be on camera, but you already know.
He don't got a choice. This man don't got a choice. If you're not there tomorrow, Goose, we
I'm
can't
there.
be friends no more.
I'm there.
Run back the Daily Bread episode. You get all your player props there. Give this video a like, and we're out.